What's up, peeps? This is Witted Sports, place where you get your sports with a little swag. About to give you our NBA Finals, 2015 NBA Finals picks. I have with me here Prime Sports Talk Coalition member, the infamous Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk. What's up, Ez?
What's up, OG Glass? How's everything? Everything good?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Let's get into it.
I told you about those Cavs.
Man, I know.
You Bulls fans never listen, man.
You know, I have to say this, though. When they got past the Bulls, I knew Atlanta didn't have a chance. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? They play great team ball, but they unraveled. And, they, of course, as you can tell, they got swept. But
yeah, they didn't have their go-to person, the Hawks.
Exactly.
But before we get to the fight, I must say, don't you think these conference finals, usually it's supposed to be the best series, you know, in sports, the conference championships. These suck this year, didn't they? The Warriors, besides the Game 4, the Warriors crushed the Rockets, and, you know, the Cavs did what they did to the Hawks.
You know, but whose fault is that? That's the other team's fault, because I think Clippers and Warriors would have been a good conference finals. I thought Washington and the Cavs would have been a good conference finals. I'd rather see Washington what Atlanta brought to the table. So I agree with you. It sucked a little bit, but I can't blame anybody but the other team.
I'd say, you know, the Clippers had the best series. I mean, like, entertaining series in the playoffs. You know, that first one with the Spurs, then one with the Houston Rockets. You know, they had to, you know, but they couldn't close the deal. And, yeah. Well, Doc Rivers won't be losing his job. I know that for sure.
Exactly. We might talk about that, about the coaching carousel after we give our picks. But let's go ahead and go to the picks. We have the two teams. The dust has settled. We're down to two teams. The Cleveland Cavaliers coming out the East. Golden State Warriors coming out the West. I believe this is going to be a great series. I'll go ahead and start. Golden State, I expected them to be there coming out the West. The only speed bump they had to me would be the Los Angeles Clippers. But as you can tell, Clippers couldn't even beat Houston. So, you know what I'm saying? Just like we said before. But anyway, we're down to Golden State. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Splash Brothers, I called, a.k.a. the mobile assault unit that rolls in. I don't know what type of player we'll get thanks to Trevor Ariza. Gave Klay Thompson a concussion, almost gave Stephen Curry a concussion because he flipped over him. My X factor would be the small forward Harrison Barnes. He stepped up his game in the postseason, especially in this last series. If he continue doing that, that's another factor you got to deal with offensively. Draymond Green, we know we're going to get with him with the defense. I think they got a deeper bench with Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, and Barbosa. So that's coming out the West. On the other side, the Cleveland Cavaliers, you got the best player in the league. He proved it. I'm tired of fighting against him. LeBron James proved to me that he's the greatest player out there. He know how to facilitate, make other players better. Hell, Tristan Thompson, he's a rebounding monster. He reminds me of Dennis Rodman. He'll get the offensive rebound, get the defensive rebound. He is my X factor on that side. J.R. Smith, enough said. He can shoot them threes. Mozgov in the middle, wreak havoc. Iman Shumpert coming off the bench is great. Matthew Dellavedova, I got questions about him, but we'll talk about that later. But with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to make him competitive. LeBron James will get his points. He will get his, 26 and 10, whatever. You got to understand he's going to get his. But as Golden State has the number one defense, you got to shut everybody else down. If they go with that game plan, coaching, Steve Kerr exponentially beats David Blatt. I always said before, David Blatt, I don't believe he's an NBA coach, and we'll talk about that later. I'm sure you're going to expound on that, Ezra. Everything said and done, when the dust clears, I believe the Golden State Warriors will beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 6, maybe game 7. But I got the Golden State Warriors over the Cleveland Cavaliers. What say you, Ez?
It's going to be you know what? I really like this matchup, and I got to give, I know a lot of people have been throwing some shade. They're always going to throw shade on LeBron James. Once again, you got to give the man credit's due. I know the East is kind of weak and such, but still, the Hawks won 60 games. Irving's on one leg, Kevin Love is out, and LeBron James with former Knicks. Okay, with former Knicks, the Knicks that just won 12 games this past year in the same Eastern Conference is going to the finals.
Right.
But people don't want to talk about all that. But it is what it is, okay? When it comes to the matchup, Steph, my boy called him, not the Splash, but he called him Pretty Ricky. On the court with the baby face assassins out there. Stephen Curry almost shot 49% from three-point land, and we know he doesn't shoot 1 or 2 a game. The man had 3 of the last game, 6, 7, 5, 6. What is that, 11 plus 8, over 23 versus the Rockets. But the Rockets don't play that much defense. But, obviously, that's the man you have to be worried about if you're the Cavaliers. And if I'm the Cavs, I would put I think the X factor for the Cavs, more so for his defense, is Shumpert on Stephen Curry. And I think at times you're going to put LeBron James on Stephen Curry, and especially if Klay Thompson is out for a game or two because of these concussion symptoms, which I doubt he'll miss any time.
Right.
Because, in the NBA, NFL, big difference and stuff like that. For the Warriors, I think my biggest X factor, I like the Harrison Barnes, but I'm going to go with Draymond Green because he's going to go against, let's say, if I'm the Cavs, I will put a smaller guy on Draymond Green. I know he's a power forward. He plays, defense against every position. But if you put Thompson, like you said, they're going to need that rebounding, especially against the Warriors. You do not want to give them extra possessions. You got the stretch forward Draymond Green. I think he's going to be forcing out, like he did all to other teams throughout the year, forcing that big man out where he doesn't feel comfortable. So I think Draymond Green will be the X factor if Thompson does get extended minutes in this series, which I expect. And I think if the Cavs really want a chance, because, the Warriors have the depth. They got the defense. They got the shooting. They got the playmaking ability. LeBron James has got to be a clear notch better than Stephen Curry, okay? We know I've been saying it for years, LeBron is the best player in the league. But, Stephen Curry's like – I'm not saying he's second best because Kevin Durant's still out there in the game.
Right,
but
right.
LeBron James has got to be the clear-cut guy. He's got to be that extra level for the Cavs to really – to have a chance in this series to take over. And, J.R. Smith has to continue. Kyrie Irving, hopefully he's healthy and, provide 30-plus minutes. And this week off, it's going to help him out greatly for his leg. We'll see how his leg reacts after game 1. But if Kyrie Irving's healthy, that's huge because, offensively, when he has been played, has been on point. The man is averaging 23 points almost at 44%. And three-point land, he's almost at 50%, at 48%. So that three-point shooting is going to be big for Kyrie Irving. And he could tire out, Stephen Curry with his offense. And obviously you want to tire out Stephen Curry. I don't know if I can go against the Warriors, though, man. It's just too much depth. It's just, Iguodala, you could put him on LeBron. You got so many guys you could throw at LeBron to make him work even harder. You got Iguodala. You could put Harrison Barnes. You could put Klay Thompson. You could put Draymond Green. You got 4 guys you could throw at LeBron James.
Right.
On the side of the Cavs, you could got 2 guys to throw at Stephen Curry. That might be effective. That's Shumpert. And once again, LeBron James, which is going to expand more energy from him. You don't want to put J.R. Smith on Stephen Curry. That's not going to be a good look. And Draymond Green is the X factor. I got the Warriors in 6, man. But I tell you one thing. I've said it. I tweeted it. If LeBron and the Cavs win the championship over this team, I'm gonna put LeBron in my top 5. I don't care what anybody says. Top 5 all time.
Well,
all right.
You know what? Honestly, we just did the radio show. that was the discussion between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like I said on the radio show, that's two different eras. I don't like comparing eras. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But this series right here will, I ain't gonna say make or break LeBron James, but it's gonna either tarnish his crown or it's gonna put a little shine on it.
I don't know if it'll tarnish it. Like, first of all, before the season started, and I think I agreed with LeBron. LeBron said, don't expect too much in the first year. Give us 2 years and see where we're at. Mm-hmm. You know, and I agreed with him. And right now he doesn't have a Kevin Love. He's got a hurt Irving, and he's going against a very deep team. You know, does he deserve a little leeway? I'm gonna say yeah, a little bit. You know, and this is his first. People expect way too much in the first year. People act like, look, Michael Jordan won in his first year with the Bulls. People act like, you know, people got to relax just a little bit.
Right.
And he's only 30 years old. People want to throw out stats and this and that. Oh, Kobe or Michael Jordan beat, or Magic Johnson beat this one. You saw the stat about 50-win teams eliminated in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. LeBron's at 7. Larry Bird is at 10. You know those careers are over, right?
Right.
We don't know what LeBron James' numbers is going to be. Maybe he eliminates 10. He'll be tied with Larry Brown, right?
Right.
Larry Bird, excuse me.
Right.
Or maybe Magic Johnson. We don't know the future. People are just saying, look at his career. His career's not – he's got at least another 3 years in his prime.
I agree. It's hard to make a comparison right now, or make a comparison or rank him now because his body of work is not done. Mm-hmm. But we got to also see that the 6 times. Six times.
6 times to the finals.
6 times. Yeah, but he only won 2.
Yeah, I understand. But
you know what I'm saying? That has to be a factor.
You know what I find funny about people talking about people's records in the Super Bowl, finals, or championships? It's fun. It's this. It's like, oh man, let's say Joe Montana. I'm a Joe Montana guy here. I just want to make it clear.
Okay.
Joe Montana went 4 for 4 in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady went 4 for 6 in the Super Bowl. Wait, so you're telling me because he lost 2 Super Bowls, he should be discredited? That means Joe Montana didn't go to the Super Bowl 6 times. He only went 4 times. We should give some, it's an accomplishment to actually make it to the championship. Right. Because they lose it, it's discredited. Like, it would have been better to lose in the conference finals. It would have been better to lose in the second round because it doesn't reflect your championship record. That makes no sense to me, okay? I'd rather my guy be 4 for 6 in the Super Bowl than 4 for 4 in the Super Bowl because that means my team went there 6 times.
I hear you.
Just talking to the universe out there, people look at it as a negative. It's not.
But see, that's like that. I'm not saying it's a dent. It got to be a little tarnished because, like I said on the radio show, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. They went 4 straight times and did not come out with 1. Well, now let's just think. If they won even 2 of those, you almost consider them almost as a dynasty. They went 4 straight years, but they came out with nothing. We don't talk about Buffalo Bills. They're a great team. I love me some Jim Kelly. That was a great team. I was rooting for them. They disappointed me. You know what I'm saying? But they went 4 straight times. So that's an accomplishment. But you would have went a step higher if you would have won 2, maybe 3 of those.
Oh, yeah, of course you would have won. I'm not saying, hey, you just winning it gets you the jewels and all that stuff like that. And back to your point about comparing errors, I agree with you. The more I get older, I don't think we should – the more I want to get away from top 5, top 10. I think we should grade guys on who was the greatest of that era.
Right.
Who was the greatest in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, stuff like that. And when it comes to 2010s, LeBron James is the greatest player of his era. Mm-hmm. 2010 on or 20, he's probably been the best player before that, but still. Right there, you have to maybe the 2000s. You go with Shaq, Duncan. Maybe some of you, a lot of Kobe people will put Kobe in there. Right. The 90s, we know who that belonged to. Mike, MJ. 80s, Magic, Bird. 70s, you got to put Kareem. Stuff like that.
Right.
That's how I would judge great players of all time.
You think like me? I don't like ranking top 10. I like to put them at the table.
Yeah.
Are you sitting at that top 10 table? Cool. Because people keep forgetting about Bill Russell.
I was about to say that right now. I'm sick of people talking about 6 rings. What is 6 rings? You know Bill Russell got one for right here? He got one for right here. Right. He got one for his toe. People, and the funny part is every time about greats or this and that, top 10, you got to put MJ, you got to win about 3, 4, 6. Like 6 rings, he got one for his toe. And they don't bring up Bill Russell's name.
They don't put
championships is the holy grail of your legacy. How come I don't hear Bill Russell's name? Rare. I mean, you got to, if you hear Bill Russell's name, it's from a 60-year-old man playing chess in the park, talking about Bill Russell, he used to get in there. You don't hear no experts. You don't hear nobody on YouTube. You don't hear nobody tweeting about Bill Russell winning 11. That means he has to lose 5 of his rings. He has to lose 5 of his rings.
Right.
For your boy, Michael Jordan of all the Jesus of basketball to be tied with Bill Russell. Bill Russell went to 10-plus straight finals.
Listen, I see what LeBron is doing. He did great when he jumped into the league. Michael Jordan took a couple of years, 4 or 5 years, before he became prominent, winning championship. Bill Russell came into the league in 1956, and he started winning in 1957. He didn't just start winning. He won 9 in a row, took 1967 off, became a player's coach, and won another straight 2.
As a player coach.
I don't understand how that's just – and people throwing shade on Bill Russell. I do not understand that.
And what's hilarious about it, too, people always get on, like, hero ball in a sense. Like, why don't you be more of a teammate, be more, Bill Russell was all about team. He sacrificed his offensive game so the other guys could shine, and he concentrate on rebound and defense. And if he needed to score, he got in there. He had to go against – it's not like he didn't go over – he went against Wilt, okay?
Right.
He got 20-something rebounds against Wilt. The greatest dominant force of basketball history. If you're talking about numbers and era, the man averaged 50 points a season.
Right.
Forget about a couple weeks, a month, a whole year. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points, and Bill Russell went up against that and held his own and won championships. Wilt Chamberlain went crying every season because he didn't win.
Right.
Bill Russell, you saw what was this? Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, had the rings, all the rings.
I don't know where to put the extra in. I don't know where to put it.
Exactly.
Give one to Riley Curry. Give one to Riley Curry. He can afford it.
Right. So I'm glad you agree with me about Bill Russell. Well, let's get back to the finals. I said Golden State in 6, maybe 7. You said Golden State in 6 or 7, correct?
Yeah, in 6. I'm not gonna lie. I will be cheering, not because I'm a LeBron guy. I guess because I'm an Eastern Conference guy or whatever. Whatever. My Nets are there. I'm gonna go for the Cavs. I'm gonna be cheering for them, because they're the underdog. I usually cheer for the underdog, but I really don't care in the spectrum of it. Because the Warriors, man, this is going to be so much fun going to years because the Warriors are so young. I hope the Thunder stay together.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers, CP3 is getting up in age, but the Clippers still have youth around with Blake Griffin. They got that building block. The West is going to be so much fun for years to come.
Right.
And if the Wolves pick up Towns and Wiggins, that's going to be a force, 3-4 years from now. Oh, it's going to be fun.
Great. I definitely agree with you on that. A little bit more NBA talk. Matthew Dellavedova. Do you consider that man dirty player?
Hell no, man. Okay. What was this in the people were? It's funny now. They're dirty players, but these are the same people that watch him 30 for 30. The Bad Boys Pistons told me, I remember that. I missed that kind of basketball. That was real basketball. Now you're calling this guy dirty. Make up your mind. It's not dirty. And guess maybe I don't feel him because I play like him on the court. I got no offensive game, but guess what? I'm be in your face. Listen, he's the kind of guy you hate, but that's the kind of guy you want on your team.
Right.
It's plain and simple. Okay, the Tony Allens, the KGs, all those type of guys you want on your team, but you hate going against. Dirty. Maybe the leg lock thing was a little dirty. Maybe, yeah, I didn't like that too much. But, being physical, being chippy, stuff like that, No. Part of the game is getting in your opponent's head.
Right.
Make them frustrated. I remember that the last game, I think, with Jeff Teague, when he was just right up in his face, just staying next to him. And Jeff Teague, they had the ball, and Jeff Teague pushed him. He got a foul for that. He got it in his head.
Right.
Got it in his head. He know he can't compete with Jeff Teague. You know Jeff Teague will, make those ankles just a honey dip. But still, he got in his head and messed up their whole thing.
Totally agree. He reminds me – Dellavedova reminds me as a Patrick Beverly on Houston.
Mm-hmm.
He's straight hustle. He's not the most gifted player, but he going to hustle for you. And that's what you want. Just like you said, either you're going to love the man because he's on your team or you're going to hate him because he's all in your face as a opposing player. That the Taj Gibson move, I didn't appreciate because he did do a leg lock.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kyle Korver one, that was just a hustle play. They was going after the ball. It happens. But I have to say with the Al Horford, I would have done the same thing Al Horford did because I don't know if people see it the same way I seen it. He just made his body limp.
Mm-hmm.
He could have controlled himself, but he just made his body limp, start leaning towards Al Horford as if to, do something to him. And Al Horford seeing Al Horford just came from a leg injury. You going to lean on me sliding down my leg? I would have gave him an elbow too. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say that right now. Let me tell you something. I play like that. Like I said, I'm on the basketball court. I ain't an NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
But if any time someone playing around with you like that or want to play dirty or a bit physical, elbow.
Right.
I remember a couple years ago, with the KG, Charlie Waiver, thing about the comments, and he was like, I'm going to beat him up after the game, this and that. He's a bully. He's a punk. He was talking to KG. I said, why don't you do it on the court? If he's bothering you, I bet you they stop. Here you go. I got no problem. If the guy's going to be physical with you, I got no problem with you being physical back.
Right.
Be quiet. Take
right.
it easy. How about that? Respect me.
Exactly.
All right? Don't come in like I said, when I play on the court, this is my property. You trespassing. That's it. If you're going to be like that, you should be able to take it.
Exactly.
You're willing to give it, you better take it. That's it.
I agree. Totally agree. I like what Al Horford said after the game. Like, you know what? I'm not going to consider him a dirty player, but there's a limit you got to do up in here, and there's a brotherhood with the NBA players where I might not get you this time, but I'm going to get you next time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If other players see that, they're going to, like I said, give them a little elbow, let them know, dude, you could play hustle basketball, but there's a line that you can't step over. I'm going to remind you.
You're willing to cross it, and when you get one across your face, I don't want to hear –
exactly.
I want to hear no complaints.
Right.
Just take it in the mouth.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. One more issue before we get on up out of here. Tom Thibodeau got fired by my beloved Chicago Bulls. Now, I'm going to give you how I feel about it. Let me know how you feel about who's at fault on here between the Bulls and Tom Thibodeau.
Who do I think is at fault?
Wait, do you understand the firing?
I've heard, there's a lot of – I hear a lot of things. I hear that they wanted to hire Doug Collins as their offensive coordinator, and there's other issues about guys being drafted. If you're having this much tension and disagreement with management, it's best to just to go separate ways here because upper management and the head coach, because you gotta fit pieces together. You're getting pieces for your system, and if you guys have different views on the system or how the team should be going forward, let's be serious. Just cut ways.
Right.
Hey, you know what? Believe me, I like Tom a whole lot, but I've never been on. He is a great coach bandwagon. Like he's one of the top coaches in the league. He's done a lot of great stuff for what he's had, the injuries he's got. I give him all the credit for that, but I've always said the biggest, toughest thing in sports is to win with expectations. Okay. That's why I give Phil Jackson huge credit. Other guys have win when you're expected to win. It's just insanely hard. But with Tom, it's like he kills his guys, okay? He gives his guys no rest. Look at Dang. He's done. He's only like 30 years old, and his legs is shot because of Tom.
Right.
Derrick Rose. I'm not going to blame that on Derrick. I mean, I'm not going to blame that on Tom. I'll be just wrong. But other guys are just – they're wore out at the end of the year. Right. You know, the offensive system hasn't changed. It hasn't flown. You know, now you got offensive weapons, and the system still hasn't changed much. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem smooth out there. There's some changes that need to be made. And I tweeted this to you, Glad. The success of Steve Kerr after letting go a successful head coach in Mark Jackson is setting this trend now and showing other people it's okay to fire a successful coach, because if you bring in the right guy and the right system, your team could flourish. Exactly. That's what got Scott Brooks fired, and I think this is what got Tom ultimately fired because of Steve Kerr's success. Does that mean the next guy is going to do much better? No, not everybody's going to be the new Steve Kerr, but if you're having this much disagreement, I got no problem with the firing. And like I said, I saw some issues on the court that just hasn't translated well on the playoff court. It's just that simple. Your guys are tired, and your offensive system, it's a new NBA. It's plain and simple. It's a new NBA. You got three-point shooters. It's a three-point league now, and your boys got three-point shooters on the bench and gets 4 minutes a game. Stretch the floor. Create some matchups. Put Powell at your 5. Yeah, if no one's not giving you production because he's hurt, put him on. Come off the bench. Stop being a punk. I don't know what. Stop playing this old school basketball. It's just not working anymore.
Right.
I'm sorry to tell you.
Right. Totally agree. Totally agree with everything you're saying. At first, I felt a certain kind of way with Tom Thibodeau getting fired. Well, when the speculation was going on for weeks at a time, Tom Thibodeau in the doghouse, he might get fired. They're gonna bring in Fred Hoiberg from Iowa State. I felt a certain type of way. But if I stepped back and looked at the whole situation, and from what I heard, management was quite tired of Tom Thibodeau not changing it, not even trying to change his ways. They were saying that he didn't talk to management for months at a time. Just like you said, the culture of the NBA coaching has changed. And I believe, just like you said, with Steve, when they fired Mark Jackson, brought in Steve Kerr, they're going to the finals. When Memphis fired Lionel Hollins, brought in Dave Yeager, they stepped the game up a little bit. Atlanta Hawks, they got rid of Larry Drew, brought in Budenholzer. They made it to the playoffs. What was the other fire? Just like in Scott Brooks getting fired, you bring in Billy Donovan. When Steve Kerr made it to the finals, that gave the Bulls a green light. You know what? We're going to change the culture here. We see what Tom Thibodeau doing. He's not listening to what we're saying. You got to have that communication between the coach and management. And Tom Thibodeau was set on his old school ways. That would mess them up. And when they struggled with the Milwaukee Bucks in the first series, and Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't care what anybody said, I understand about LeBron, but they was ripe for the picking. With Kyrie Irving hurt, Kevin Love gone for the season, they was up for the picking. You healthy, just like you said. You got your roles. You got the most improved player and Jimmy Butler. You got a nice bench, and you get your ass kicked in Game 6, dude. It was bound to happen. We had to have this divorce because it wasn't working, and I didn't need a press conference. I seen a press release from the owner, Reinsdorf. That's all I need to know. You just told me right there why we did what we did. There's a culture change. He wasn't aboard with it. We had to get rid of him. I'm cool with that. There's
a quote that I just read yesterday, and this was an absolute Jim Ross. Oh my God, what a slam! This must be on Mark Jackson, and this might reflect the same thing on Tom. Andrew Bogut, like I said, I read this yesterday, today on Steve Kerr. Whenever you get a head coach who's not full of himself, it makes a huge difference, unquote. First of all, that's got to be
yep.
We should have saw in the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight to Mark Jackson, and that might speak volumes also at what the Bulls feel about Tom.
Right.
Okay. Not letting up. Not, you got to let other ideas, and you got to adapt to the new NBA. And it seems like Tom wasn't. And He seemed like he was full of himself. Like, yeah, there's got to be my way. I know what I'm doing here, and such. You are. I think Tom, Mark Jackson, those type of guys are great for young teams and teams that, they need that extra push.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean just because you could build up teams and exceed expectations doesn't mean you're the type of coach to win a championship either. That you're that guy to bring them to the next. There's different levels.
Exactly.
Your young team, boom, then it's progressing. But at a certain point, you can only reach this level, and you need that other guy to bring
finish it off.
To the top. And
totally.
So that's why, if you think about it, how many coaches have won championships in the last 20 years? Maybe like 4 or 5 guys.
Exactly.
It's not like, it's a new guy every year.
Right.
So,
just like any business, you got to learn how to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Any business, you got to do that. We see what's in the horizon now with the new coaching style. No more task masking type situation or old school type. You got to sit there and learn how to push the buttons of your players on your team, know how to make the right matchups for whoever you playing. And like I said, these coaches now that just been hired, Budenholzer, Kerr, Jaeger, they know how to push the buttons and make whatever they have work, and that's where we at. Love me some Tom Thibodeau, but he's not. He got to change his ways. And just like you said earlier, he needed an offensive mind on that bench,
and he wasn't with it.
He wasn't with.
So that's what the Warriors, ownership said about Mark Jackson. We try to give him the best assistance, but he didn't want it. He wanted to do it and this and that. And we want to get the best in here. Steve Kerr was open to like, all right, let's get him. And he probably listens to his guys. It's just I was thinking about something before you brought that up. I love Mark Jackson. I love Tom. They're going to get jobs soon, very soon. They're great for certain things, but you got to learn to adapt. And
exactly.
Sometimes, Mark Jackson laid the foundation for the Warriors, okay? That's why they're much improved on defense, and now they're number 1 because of Mark Jackson.
Right.
The Bulls had their foundation. He developed Jimmy Butler. There's essence of Tom that will never leave the Bulls for the next couple years, but sometimes you need a pair of eyes from the outside to change it. It's like CEOs for a lot of companies. They bring in somebody from the outside that's not part of that industry and come in and they reinvent the whole company, and, it just changes everything. So you just need those pairs of eyes sometimes. And so Bulls fans, I know you're upset, but it might be
exactly.
It might be green on the other side. Not saying we will. Not saying Tom is terrible. We're not saying that at all. He laid the foundation. There's a lot of credit, but it was time for a change.
I agree. Now we got Bulls. The Bulls have an opening. New Orleans Pelicans have an opening. Minnesota Timberwolves might have an opening.
No.
I think the Denver Nuggets. Now, the coaches that's out there, I believe Monty Williams. I think Monty Williams had a raw deal out in the Pelicans. That's just my point. You got Monty Williams. Scott Skiles already said. Let me ask you about the Scott Skiles situation real quick. Good hire for the Orlando Magic?
Yeah, because they're young. He's one of those other guys.
Exactly.
A young team. He'll bring them up. He'll have them play hard. He'll lay a foundation. He'll be fired in 3-4 years.
Right.
But he'll lay a foundation over there. You'll see some guys develop, play hard, and be professionals. He's one of those foundation coaches that lay foundations for the Bulls, the Suns, and the Bucks. And the next coach that comes around, is going to have a professional team, a veteran team. But yeah, I like the hire for now, but he will be fired in a couple of years.
Totally agree. I agree with the hire, but I'm not a Scott Skiles fan. You know why? Because when he was with the Bulls, he basically quit on the team, and he literally quit on the Milwaukee Bucks. So, yeah, he might be good for the first 2 years.
Because he knows they're going to quit on him in a couple of years.
Right.
He's on the first couple, he done his job. He's like, I'm waiting for you guys to fire me.
Right. Okay, I agree with you on that. The Bulls, I know everybody praising Fred Hoiberg. I'm cool with it, but my problem is his health issues. He got heart ailments, and he going in for surgeries to clean stuff up. If he's going to be the next head coach for the Chicago Bulls, he better have a great assistant coach, because something tells me the stress of the NBA is going to get to him, and we're going to have problems there. I honestly didn't think about it, but I wouldn't mind having Tyronn Lue as Chicago Bulls coach. I think he's that new age thinking. I seen what he did with the Cleveland. Actually, he's coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers, not David Black. So I think he's doing a good job. Mark Jackson, not for the Bulls, maybe for the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, I just think it's going to be Fred Hoiberg the way everything's going. And if it's going to be Fred Hoiberg, he got to have a nice staff. Who you think might be a Denver Nugget? Be a head coach of the Denver Nuggets?
I don't believe it's going to be Tyronn Lue. They already picked up their hot assistant in Brian Shaw, and that didn't work out well. I think they'll go back to a veteran coach. I think he might become a head coach this offseason. I'm going to go with Alvin Gentry. He's with the Clippers now, right, I believe?
No, I think he's with Golden State.
We'll go this. Either way, I think he's going to be one of those guys. Besides Alvin, might be also become a head coach from the Steve Kerr tree now. So, but I like Alvin Gentry maybe for the Nuggets or the Pelicans. I really like him for the Pelicans. Monty Williams, I do like Monty Williams a whole lot. Is he going to get a job this offseason? I don't think so. I don't think the Nuggets will hire him. I don't think the Bulls will hire him.
Timberwolves.
No, I don't think this guy. I don't think Flip Saunders is firing himself.
Okay.
Because he's the president and the head coach.
Right.
Unless he feels like I don't know. He feels someone. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe Flip Saunders says I'll just stay on the president's side.
Right.
Yeah, I like Alvin Gentry getting hired. The Pelicans, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm already hearing talk about Tom and the Pelicans are having conversations already.
Okay.
Is that going to be a good look? Yeah, I guess they're young. They made it to the playoffs this past year. But I think their offense is their problem.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom is not the guy to bring in here for offense. So I'm not sure if he'll be a great fit. Will he be hired? It looks likely right now because they're having conversations, but I don't know if I like that fit. I want more of an offensive balanced guy for the Pelicans job. Maybe the Nuggets with Tom because they already got the offensive firepower over there. You bring in Tom because I think changes will happen. You bring in Tom. Tom can handle changes. He can. Whoever comes in there is going to play tough and play a lot of minutes. So I think I like the Tom for the Nuggets more than anything. I like Alvery for the Pelicans. That would be my choices if I was the god of the NBA and moving around.
I think Denver Nuggets need some discipline, so I can see Mark Jackson going over there. Tom Thibodeau could go over there. New Orleans Pelicans, I could see Jeff Van Gundy going over there.
I think they're too young for him. I don't think they have enough. I think Jeff has got to be super confident. Like, this team is a championship caliber team a year away or their championship. I don't think Jeff is coming out unless your team is stacked.
Okay. I agree with you.
I don't think Jeff is messing with any. No, I'm sorry. I'm chilling over here,
doing my analysis,
my terrible jokes on ESPN, making a cool $2 million. Jeff doesn't need to do that. He's like the John Gruden of the NBA right now.
Right.
He's just relaxing unless something fantastic. The only reason he jumped to the Rockets job is because they had Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady. And if those guys would have stayed healthy together, then it would have been endless possibilities over there. I like Jeff Van Gundy. I would love to see him coach again. I just don't think the team is out there right now for him.
Gotcha. Did you say Alvin Gentry for the Pelicans?
That's who I like, yeah.
I like that too. I agree with you. So, okay, cool. Well, there you go. We're going to close the door on this episode right now. We gave you our NBA picks. We did a little 2-cent deposit on the NBA talk. So, thanks for joining in, Ezra. Appreciate it.
No. Thank you for the invite. I should be the one thanking you. I'm just a Puerto Rican in New York. I gotta give it an invite. Thank you so much, sir. And Dominican. I'm both. I don't want to.
No problem. Tell everybody how they can find you, man.
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter at Idiot Sports Talk, at the YouTube. Just type in Idiot Sports Talk. And for some reason you want to see stupid pictures of me, Idiot Ezra on Instagram.
Okay, great. As you guys probably don't know, but should know, we part of the Prime Sports Talk Coalition. We got Get With It Sports, me and Brandon. We got Ezra here from Idiot Sports Talk, Dave Rantisi from Wake Up As Football, Team Board TV Clan with Big Q, JV, and Fernie B. And we have the 3-point conversion with Raphael, a.k.a. Mr. Controversy,
Which you got to check out their show every Saturday morning. Let them know.
I'm letting them know, man. We check out the Prime Sports Art Coalition. We got good stuff coming in the future. Every Saturday morning, me and Raphael from 3 Point Conversion have a show on Blog Talk Radio. Type in the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge in the search, and you'll listen to it. We got good stuff. We on from 9 to 11 Central Standard Time. Check us out. And as always, from Get Witted Sports, place where you get your sports with a little swag. Me and Ez is out of here. Be good, be safe, get with it.
Later, guys.